and welcome to a So Steady online event. Please have all your tools and note-taking capabilities ready. Your event begins in less than 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody. It's Pam Varner here today. Throw me a like or something if you can see this and hear me. I think everything's good. I'm just going to wait. I just need one comment that you can hear me. Well, I think I can hear me, so we're just going to go and see what's going on. Yay, thank you very much. All right. Hey, everybody. Today we're going to play with the Snowflake number 9 from the Elevate box. So this is different than the classic snowflakes, but not much. So let me put it there so you can see it. There you go. Okay, so I just want to go over some of the markings on this template that are different than the other template, the other snowflake template. So you have markings over here on the side. For those of you that have the Starry Nights set, this is very familiar to you. You can actually use this to stitch. And you have your 1/4 inch markings, and the long lines are an inch marking. So going from the top, and you can tell this is top because you can read where it says Spin-e-Fex Snowflake. It's 1 inch, even though the 1 is up here, it's referenced to this longer line below it. So that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and this is 5 inches way down at the bottom. When you go up this way, it's the same thing. The long line is 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, all the way up to 5 inches again. This very top line is your needle position when you're using this side of the template up here. And then you have a center line as well. You have a needle slot over here to get in and out of the template. Then down here on the other side, the bottom, you also have needle position here, going like that. So that's your baseline down here. That's a needle position when your point is there. And then you have a little tiny 1/2 inch circle. This is really fun and it really enhances your snowflakes. It also has a needle slot over here, and then using the needle slot as a reference line, you have reference here and here across horizontally, and then you have references vertically. So those are all the markings on the template. This up here is the only thing that's a little bit scary, going around here. And there's 2 ways you can go around this point, and I'm going to show you both of them. And I have a few designs kind of mapped out to show you, and we're just going to start and see what happens when we get going. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm always going to pull in the middle. So I always pull my threads. I don't ever start without pulling the bobbin thread to the top. I don't know if it's just my machine, but that's what works best for me. And I'm going to take, I usually take about 3 securing stitches. That just works for me. And now we're going to use this arrow part. So I'm going to slip in my template through the needle slot by raising my foot, coming around that way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the markings on the circle, which I can see really well, this opening here, as my starting point for where I'm going to go. Now, you don't have to use this point. You can come up here. You can use ruler stickers. You can use the markings over here. It's just this is real visible, and so I'm going to use that. And I want to make sure that I'm on my line. My reference line here, the center is on the line. So I'm going to stitch up. And there's 2 ways to do this one, this here. You can go around it and you get a nice little curve. Or you can go stitch to the line here, kind of float off a stitch, and then come up this way and get a point. Come back down to where I started, rotate my template. I'm going to do every line. I have 12 markings here, 12 reference lines. I used my 6-point crosshair square to do that. So let's go this way. And again, using this baseline, I'm lining up these lines on my template with the circle, and that's where I'm going to start. The other way you can do this is when you come here, hug that hump really tightly. I always go really slow, and you get a curve. So I want to show you the difference between these 2. Well, this comes to a point. This is a definite curve. So it's up to you. The curve is easier to do because you're not floating off the template. The point is a little bit more challenging. So if you're new to ruler work, you may want to do the curve part, and that's perfectly fine. All right, here we go. And I'm just going to keep stitching. And what I like about this particular design is that they interlock with each other just a little bit. So when I come up here, you get this where just right here, they just kind of interlock arms, I guess, is what I think it looks like. The fun thing about these templates is that you get completely different looks by using 8 points or 6 points or 12 or 16. So it's like you have a whole bunch of templates when you really only have one. Now I would call this a basic design because I'm just using one side of the template. And get these guys out of the way. Keep going. Careful not to drop your foot on your template. Oh, that time I did the curve part. And there you can really see the difference between this one that's curved right here and this one that's straight on. So, oops, went in the wrong place. We want to do there. And we are, this isn't going to take that long. Unless I get my threads in the way, and then it's going to take me a little bit longer. There we go. Line this up. Every so often I like to change direction. By changing direction, I mean going this side of the template versus this side of the template. It doesn't really matter which way you go. It's whatever's comfortable for you. And for some reason, my feed dogs went up. I thought it was feeling kind of weird. I actually, when I quilt, I use, I have my feed dogs down, but I also set my stitch length to 0. I kind of think of it as a kind of a insurance policy. But it just feels better to me if the feed dogs are down. I don't know why. It's probably just mental. Because if your stitch length is set to 0, your feed dogs aren't moving. So, but now I'm using a 40 weight polyester thread in the needle, and then I'm using a 60 weight bobbin thread. And I do that for demo purposes. The bobbin lasts longer. Okay, I'm in the middle. I went back and forth in the middle a lot. So what I'm going to do is come out just a couple of stitches, take some locking stitches, and then I'm going to get my template out of the way. I'm going to raise my needle, raise my foot. I'm not going to move my quilt sandwich at all. I put my finger through, I pull some of the threads or the top thread, and now I can pull this away. When I pull on the needle and the loop that I created, that pulls my bobbin thread up to the front. And then I can tell this, if I pull on this part, it's moving. If I pull on the left, it doesn't move. So I want to cut the one on the right. And if you watch this, that little bobbin thread just disappears and it's right here. So, and then I'm going to cut my top thread, and then I would bury these. The beginning threads I don't necessarily need to bury because we've sewn over them so many times. But the ending threads I definitely would bury, but in this case it's just a demo, so I'm just going to cut them. And I'm going to try and cut them. There we go. So this is our first design. And that's just with one side of the template. And look how it made this secondary design here in the middle. And then also the way these all interlocked as they go around. Just a nice, pretty design. You can change the way it looks and the size of it by how far you go up the template that I just lost, right? You could come all the way up to here instead of using the circle. You could come up here and your design would be larger. So those are just some things to think about when using this template, that you can change how things are. Now let's go to another design, and this time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to use this part of our template, and what we're going to do is we're going to stitch. I don't know how far we're going to go because, let me see, I need to have room here to line this up. So I could come out to here. Maybe I'll come out to there. Let me see. Okay, so about here. And that is going to give me, let's see, from the top there, I'm gonna do 3 inches. Well, 2 3/4. I'm gonna go to the line where the 3 is. Now this is going a lot in and out. By in and out, I mean in and out of your template. So it's a little more labor intensive. You could, if you were brave, you could free stitch this straight line. I'm not feeling that brave today, so I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spacing gauge, make sure that's lined up, and I'm going to stitch out to where that 3 is. And then I'm going to sit this in. Oops, wrong slot. And here I'm like right at the base of where this is, and I'm going to create my arrow. That's what I'm going to call this, as an arrow. And then I can travel back through this until I get to this point. And then I could just use my template and travel back. The other thing you could do is you could come and mark this point here on every other line as to how far you needed to go. But we're going to use the outside of the template because we can. And again, I'm going and that is, so it's 2 3/4 inches that I'm going. The other thing you could do, if you had a outer rim tool, you could measure out that way as well. And I'm just going to go here and make my arrow. And I apologize if my hand is in your way. I'll try and move it the next time. Come back down. And I have some threads that are in the way here. So I'm going to move them. And then I'm going to go back down to the center. I wanted to show you this because I think it's a really fun feature of these templates is to have this edge on them. Find the 1/4 inch and stitch up. Put this in, pop it there. I'm kind of eyeballing the center here to there. Back down to the middle. And then we just got a couple more of these to make. Then we're going to add something else. I got off just a little bit. Let's get back on that line. And then let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 2 more to go. Oops. Let's get out here. Don't want to lose my spacing gauge. You know what? I'm just going to trim these threads now. There we go. You can't trim those until you've done at least a few stitches, a few back and forths, I mean, so that you've got extra thread in the middle. Otherwise, it's going to come out. You could also stitch to here the very first time and then bury those threads if you wanted to. I bury a lot when I'm actually quilting. I don't bury so much when I'm demoing. There we go. Yeah, oops. Little free stitch in there. One more this way. And then we're going to add something to the middle. You can also come over here and put this center reference line on this previous stitched line, and that will get you centered as well. If eyeballing is not something you're comfortable doing. When I first started ruler work, I wasn't comfortable eyeballing. Come back into the center. Okay, now we're in the center. I'm going to take my template and I'm going to stitch the same motif in between these two lines. And the way to do that is to make sure that I'm low enough that I'm a 1/4 inch away here and a 1/4 inch away on that side. If I come up this way, I'm going to stitch over this line, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to come down until I'm a 1/4 inch away on both sides. And then when I stitch up, I should be stitching right on that line. And then come back down. And that's why I stitch these outer ones first, so that I have a line that is perfect. And in case I messed up when I did the first part, I don't think I'm far enough away on this side. I might have to go in a little bit more. There we go. If I use the reference lines for this, then I have to be absolutely perfect when I do my straight lines. There's a lot of stitching on this one. This seems to be, needs to go this way more. And that's too far. Okay, these two were not perfect, and that's okay. We're gonna make them perfect now by coming up a little bit and over a skosh. Let's see if that works. All right, fix that one. Yay. Sometimes you just hold your breath and hope it works out. That looks good there. That looks good there. Let's go up this side. Couple more to go, and we'll be done with this design. Now, if you can eyeball this, go ahead and do that. I know some of you are good at eyeballing a 1/4 inch. I am not. I can eyeball it when it doesn't matter, but when it matters, I always measure. One more to go. And I must admit, I did pretty good on that. I'm really happy. So here is our design. I should have gone out a little bit before I did that, but again, feel for which one is moving and cut that one. And then I would bury those. Put our spacing gauge away. I keep my spacing gauge on a notions necklace. And then I have command hooks. There's my notions necklace. And then I have command hooks right here on my table that hold my spacing gauge. So here you have it. This is our second design. And let's see, let's go like that. So you have this, and this would make a nice design by itself as well. And then you could do something here in the middle if you wanted to add on to that. But there's two. And I'll take pictures of these and put them on Westalee by me later on. And now we're going to go to the other half of the template. And we're going to go a little adventurous on this one. I think I'm going to use this one over here. I think it's farther away from the edge. And you can see my chalk has really traveled. Looks like I have speckled fabric. And I'm pretty sure that's the middle. My lines are very faint. Okay. For this one, we're gonna, do I want to do this one first? Yeah, I think we'll do this one first. For this one, we're gonna use our diamond side. We're gonna come down here and we're gonna do 2 diamonds. Okay, so we're gonna travel up here. Now this is where it makes a difference on what side you come up on. I'm going to move the template up. I'm going to make another diamond, but I'm going to go on the opposite side of where I came up, like this. When I come back down, then I can move my template back and I can go back to center. And oh, oops, you know what? I don't think I started exactly in the center. Let's see. I wasn't in the center. That's all right. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Okay. We're going to go up on the left, come up here, stop, come up like this, and go to the right. Now, why do I do that? I'm going to show you. Sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, when you're doing a continuous design like we're doing here, I would call this a continuous design. I'm doing the same shape over and over again. Sometimes you don't meet. So if I come up here on the left side and then come up here on the left side, if I shift my template at all, right, when I come back down here, those stitches may not meet. And I end up with an opening between these 2 diamonds because the stitches are coming together like this instead of, I don't know if that makes sense, but so there could be a gap in between them. And that's why I always go up one side and then up the other side. Up one side, up the other side. So up on my left and now up on my right. Get the line and go back down. And then with these templates, the possibilities for the size of your snowflake is pretty much whatever you need. Whether you have an 8-inch block, a 4-inch block, a 10-inch block. I almost went the wrong way. And Okay, we have one more of these to do, and then we're going to do something fun again. Oops. Let's get that. There we go. You can feel the template placement wise when you're here. If you move up, when your foot is actually touching the template, that's where you want to go from. And then we're going to go back down. Oops. I'll be in the center. Now, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go this way, and we're going to come up until we're at where the circle is. Right? So we have this design going on, which is really nice and fun, and that would be a great design, but we're going to add something to it because we can. And I want to show you different ways to play with this template because you get all sorts of different looks. Okay, so we are going to, well, we're going to start with our diamond like that. Sorry, I'm like, what am I doing? It wasn't looking right. These threads. Shh. I'm just going to snip them like that. Okay. So I'm going to start like this. I'm going to stitch up until I get to the reference line on the circle. Stitch this up till I get to that reference line. And then I'm going to put a little circle there. Right? I can line that up. I can line this up. And I'm just going to make me a little circle. And now I'm going to go back down. And again, this is another labor intensive. I'm lining the template up. Remember that reference line where the needle is? I'm lining that up on the bottom. And then I'm going to complete this diamond here. So we're going to go up until we get to the line on the circle. And then we're going to swap out and put in a little circle. I think this little half circle on snowflakes really adds a lot. Now, the one thing about these circles, because they're so tiny, your stitches have to be really close together. I tend to stitch with my stitches pretty far apart. I like the look. That's me personally. I feel like I'm not really an embroidery machine, so but when I do little tiny circles or little curves, I really put my stitches really close together. Otherwise, you're not going to make a circle. You're going to have like gaps and things. So line this up with this line here. There we go. And then come back down. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to check for questions. So if you have any questions, I'll look at them in just a minute. And then I have a couple more fun designs to show you. And put that there. Come back down. And one more. Oops, I moved my template. Let me go back to the center and start that over. I wasn't paying attention and wasn't holding on to my template. Sometimes that happens. And go back down. Oh, I still have one more to do here. I thought we were done. Sorry. I got excited. I think this diamond and the circle really add a modern, but also kind of a retro 50s kind of look. Or I guess 60s would be better. Kind of thinking of Tomorrowland at Disney. Yeah, come back down. Come out, take a couple of locking stitches, and then that's the side I want to cut. Bingo. And there are your threads. So a little fuzz there. So there's this one, which I think is really fun. It's got a lot going on in the middle, and then you have these circles and diamonds going around the outside. And I'm just going to check for questions real quick. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions. Yeah, I really like the secondary designs in the center. I thought you were. Okay, there's a question that I can't. I thought you were. Okay. All right, let's see. I still have some more. We're not done yet. We are not done yet. We've got a few more to do. So, all right. This time I'm going to use both templates. And we're going to start with, let's start with the diamond. And we're going to pull in the center, as always. And take a couple of locking stitches. The reason I take the locking stitches, there's two reasons. One is that way I don't have to hold my thread when I start quilting, which when I first learned, you always had to hold your thread tails really, really tight when you first started stitching so that your bobbin thread wouldn't get sucked up into your bobbin case. By taking those stitches, you don't have to do that. So that's the number one reason. The other reason is that if you pull your bobbin and you start stitching, sometimes there's a gap between where your bobbin thread is and where your first stitch goes down. There's a way to fix that. When you bury your threads, you just close that up. But when you do this, you don't get that gap. So those are the two reasons why I do that. So we're going to start with our diamond. And we're going to use the circle as a baseline. That's where I'm going to start my diamonds, is with the circle. And I'm going to come up here, and then I'm going to travel up a little bit from the circle again. I'm using the circle because it's there, and it just gives me something to be consistent with. And then I'm going to put a little circle on it. So you don't have the circle on the other snowflake to be able to do this with. And then I'm going to go back down. Not centered. And then okay. Skip a line. Same thing. We're going to stitch from there up to the circle line. And then I'm going to do, oh no, I was starting with the circle down at the bottom. I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse you. Circle at the bottom. Oh, it's kind of almost the same thing. Come here. Travel up from the circle line. Again, you could use your outer rim tool. To get where you needed to be on your line. Or you could use this part and stitch back down like this. I know this is a lot of going in and out, like a lot of going in and out. And if I was working on a quilt, I may not go to all of this trouble if I was putting a lot of snowflakes in. But if I had blank squares on a quilt, I would probably do this to make it look really fancy, and then do something plainer in piece blocks. So start up here. And then travel up here. Put my little circle in. I think this is the last design where I have this. Oh no, I have one more trick with the circles. I just forgot. The next trick is really fun. Let's turn it this way. Let's see if we can. Maybe you can see better from this angle. Let's see if I can do that. The circle, go up. And then I'm going to travel from the circle to the opening. And then I'm going to go like this, swap it out. If you're not talking when you're quilting, you can actually do this much faster, especially with the needle slots. Okay, we got 2 more of these guys to do. And then circle reference lines lining up on the baseline. Move up from the circle baseline to the opening here. Raise your foot, go like this. Let's see, I have to line this up. I don't want to, there we go. I didn't want a crooked circle. Oh, I guess it is a little crooked. Oh, well. Might want to extend your reference lines if you do this design. Come back down. Top of the diamond, come back down. And then I got off 1 more. See here, I can see the reference line on the fabric on both sides of the circle. So it makes it easier to line it up so that circle is more centered. The one thing that I want you to take away from this is to experiment with these templates. Even if you just play on paper, you'll see some really fun designs kind of develop on their own. And then on this, I would just take the other side of the template, right? And I'd want to make sure I'm going to start way down here where the opening of the diamond is. I'm going to start down there. And that's because I don't want to touch, I don't want to come down here and interlock these. I want them to be on their own. So I'm going to come up like this. And I'm just going to and then we're going to do the same thing here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go until the template touches the the points of the diamond. And then I know that I'm a 1/4 inch away from that. Oops. I forgot what I was doing. Yeah. I like combining these two shapes, and also with template number 10, snowflake number 10 from the Elevate box. Yeah. One more. Oops. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. I think that's it. That's it. So we can come up here a couple of stitches. The trick to doing this is you don't want to move your quilt while you're doing the up and down and that kind of thing. So there we have it. There's that design. Very fun. Oops, what's going on here? We don't want to sew in reverse. And then I have one more kind of fun thing to do with the circle. And it's a combination of what we did with the, of course, my template, the diamond before, where we did 2 diamonds in a row. But this time we're going to go up. We'll start here in the center. We'll go up. And then we're going to go across. And then this is really scary. If you want to, you could turn your template and use your template to go down. But you want to go down just until your foot clears these stitches right here. So my foot has cleared these stitches. And then we're going to put a circle in here. Now this time you have to make sure everything's lined up and that your reference line on your circle is lined up here and then it's lined up there. Make a little tiny circle. And then you want to go up that stitch line again. Like I said, it might be a little scary, but the effect is really cool, I think. Now we're going to go back down here. come back down here, move this, and go back to center. And we're going to do that every other one. So let's see what we got here. Come down here. Come up a little bit. There we go. You could put circles in both of these diamonds if you wanted to. I go, oops, I went way too far. I don't think it's going to fit if you go that far. Oh well, we'll have lines in our little circle, which is fine. You could, if you wanted to, because we stitched over them, you could take those stitches out when we were done. And stitch back up. Because this is double stitched, and then the circle went around, you would be fine. Let's put that like that, and go back. And go back. And go up. Go up. Just until your foot clears those stitches. That is the sweet spot. I played around with it and that's what I came up with. I'm not doing a very good job of lining this up, so this next one we're going to pay better attention. That's straight. It's on the line. When I pull this forward, I want to make sure my reference line is on the line. There we go. Couple of stitches down. And then make sure that your reference lines are lined up on your circle so that your circle is centered on your reference line. Slowly go back up. Put this back. And make sure that this is on the center as well. And come back down the center. Okay, we've got 2 more to go. I didn't have it in a good starting spot. I can see behind the needle here that this circle is centered. I should do it this way. I want the circle inside of the diamond. It must be Friday afternoon. Line that up so that we come back straight. And there we go. One more, and then we'll be done with this design. And then I have one little like bonus thing to show you guys, which I think is really fun. It might have something to do with the holiday that's coming up. Although I don't know if Valentine's Day is considered a holiday. It's just a fun day, right? Oh, I didn't stitch down. Well, Pam, it would help if you would stay on the template. There you go. Well, that didn't go as planned, but and this one, we're gonna go like that. See, the trick is not to move your quilt sandwich. And if you practice this enough, you can do it even with a large quilt. So there's that little design. Just something kind of fun. And then, so Valentine's Day is coming up. And I was thinking about this template and I was thinking, oh, I bet you I could do something for Valentine's Day with this. So I got out my heart templates. This is the 4-inch heart. You could do this with the 5 or the 6-inch as well. But what I'm going to do is, and this goes really quick, this marking here at the top of the heart, I'm going to use that marking, and then I'm going to use the center of the heart, this line here, and this line here. So what I've done is I have a 6-point crosshair, but I've only done the line that goes vertical and then the line that's slanted horizontally with this part up on the top. And I didn't do these 2 lines here. I don't need the center marked because I'm going to put this reference line here on this line. And you can also go a little bit down or up, or, you know, just approximately in that kind of that area. Okay. I'm going to pull my thread, the center of the heart here at the top. When I go down, I always try to not go down right on the template, or, you know, right where the template is supposed to be, because I always get scared that I'm gonna come crashing down and crack my template and mess up the timing on my machine. Okay, so we're gonna stitch to this reference line. And we're gonna stop. Now we're gonna take the diamond part of our, oops, make sure the stable tape is on the fabric side. We're gonna go like this. And we want to come out a little bit. So let's use that circle again, right? Because that's such a good reference marking. That may not be long enough. Let's go to the end of the template. Let's go here. Stitch up to the opening. Bring the template down. Just do part of the diamond, go back up. Part of the diamond, go back up. And then stitch down till you get back to the, there we go. That could have been a little bit longer, but it's fine. It's going to be just perfect. Let's see. Where are you coming from? You guys go back over there. There we go. Okay. Now let's put our heart back in. And line up our lines. Come down here. And this up here should be a 1/4 inch away from this part of the template. Which, if you've got everything lined up properly, you can feel it when these lines, the center line of the heart is lined up. And then we're going to complete the half of our heart. We're going to turn, I'm going to turn this way so you can see. Oops, I just dropped my spacing gauge. Oh well. We're going to stitch this part of the heart up to the reference line. And by now I think you know where I'm going with this. And we're going to do the end of the arrow down here. Again, we want to stitch down a little bit. We want to give it some room. And then line up my template. Line that line up, line this line up. That should touch there, that should touch there. That looks like it's fine. And here we go. And we're back where we started. Take a couple of stitches back, lock, pull, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I was so excited that this came out. And this, and that, and that. Look at this. Got a heart with an arrow shooting through it. Isn't that fun? I'm so excited about that. So that is all I have to show you guys today. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And next month, we're going to do edge-to-edge designs with both of the snowflake templates. And let's see. I know, it's kind of fun. Hi, everybody. I'm not seeing any questions, so if I missed a question, I apologize. But if you have these templates, I want you to just play with them and use different reference lines if you have them. If you have the 6-point and the 8-point and even the 5-point, just so you can see different ways that these things make totally different designs when you add reference points or take reference points away. So you are so welcome. Thank you for the compliments. And again, I will see you the first Friday in March where we will do edge-to-edge designs. So take care. Have a great month. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And we'll see you soon. And I will post these pictures on Westalee by me sometime tonight or tomorrow. So, alrighty, that's it. I'm signing off. Take care. Again, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Okay, now, who is looking for a full winter quilting experience? This winter Elevate quilt box is available now through March 18th with options starting at just $75 through our club stores or $99 to try it. Each box includes over $400 with tools, fabric, thread, and guided projects with everything you need to stay inspired all season long. It's the perfect way to learn, to quilt, and to grow in your quilting experience this winter.